are not going to believe who is going to be the new face of the NBA. We had the Nuggets eliminated recently, and we got 4 teams left in the NBA playoffs. You got Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves. You got Tyrese Halliburton, Luka Doncic from the daggone Mavericks, and of course, Jason Tatum from the Boston Celtics. But will one of these guys be the new face of the NBA, or is there another player? I believe there's another person that they're not talking about that will shock you when you find out that they'll be the new face of the NBA. In this episode, we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to cover week 2 of the WNBA Fantasy Basketball season and the top 5 waiver wire targets you need to take a look at. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So we're going to talk about the new face of the NBA, but before we do that, I want to go ahead and do our Caitlin Clark watch. As you know, for the first week of the WNBA season, I had some time to cook up a couple of episodes for you, and we want to keep that going for week 2 to let you know how the rookie sensation is progressing in the WNBA. So she did have a game on May 20th. She played 27 minutes, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, no steals, 2 blocks, which is a really good sign, but also 5 turnovers. She had 5 turnovers, a total of 32 fantasy points. As we noted in our last episode, guys, when you have a rookie point guard, you are going to see turnovers. You are going to see some issues when it comes to the assist to turnover ratio. It's just a part of the game. As she adjusts to the speed of the pro game, we'll see those turnovers come down. On the 18th of May, she played against New York. She had 34 minutes, 22 points, yes. 6 rebounds, yes. 8 assists, yes. 1 steal, come on. No blocks, and then again, 8 turnovers. So we're seeing some struggles there with turning over the ball, but still a pretty stable fantasy output. She put up 42 fantasy points. Really quick, before we move on, I want to invite you to be a two-way player. We want you to play offense. We want you to play defense. When you play offense, you are following, supporting, and watching our YouTube channel. You could put that joint on repeat in the background and put on a playlist. Just support the channel. We create all of this content for free, but how you can support is watching the YouTube channel on offense. On defense, we need you to listen to the audio podcast. People say defense wins championships, and for us to really grow and get the word out about what we're doing here with the Believe Network, we're really going to ask you, if you can, to just listen to the podcast. If you never listen to podcasts or that's not your thing, this will be a great time to start. You can play it in the background when you're washing the dishes, mowing the lawn, working out at the gym, on your way to school. We would greatly appreciate it if you played both sides of the ball. BetOnline is your number one source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget, use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Now, we're going to go ahead and go over our top 5 waiver wire targets for week 2 of the WNBA season. The first player is Stephanie Dolson. Stephanie Dolson is averaging 27.7 minutes per game on the season, 8.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.3 blocks. She's also not turning the ball over really at 0.7 turnovers per game. She is a center, so at the center position, she will probably not turn the ball over much. But over the last couple of games, she's getting minutes. She had 27 minutes, 26, and 30. You know, she's getting some steals here, 2 steals in the last 3 games, also a block in the last 3 games. So somebody that you really want to take a look at, and also only rostered in 37.8% of ESPN leagues. We're only going to talk about players who are rostered in 50% of leagues or less. She is only rostered in 37.8% of leagues. The next player we want to take a look at for your waiver wire targets is from the Los Angeles Sparks, and her name is Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is just rostered in 29% of ESPN leagues. She is being added widely, and people are picking her up across the board. Over the last week, she's averaged 32 minutes per game, 18 points per game. She is getting some buckets, y'all. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and about a turnover and a half. So Kia Nurse is definitely someone you want to take a look at. Again, only rostered in 29% of ESPN leagues, so she is widely available. The next player we want to take a look at for the WNBA Fantasy Basketball waiver wire is also from the Los Angeles Sparks, Lashia Clarendon. Only rostered in 21.3% of ESPN leagues. Come on, man. Yo, I'm just saying. She is likely available. There you go. Over the last 7 days, or over the last week, 26.5 minutes per game, 6.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 7 assists per game. Huh? Where they do that at? I'm just saying. 1.5 steals per game. Yes. She is cooking with hot grease. No blocks, averaging 2 turnovers per game. Definitely somebody I would prioritize grabbing off of the waiver wire. Next up, from the Connecticut Sun, Tyasha Harris. My apologies. And if I make any mistakes with the names, please let me know in the comments, guys. Doing my best. Tyasha Harris, over the last week, she's averaged 28 minutes per game, 12.3 points, 2.7 assists, 0.7 steals. So she is doing her thing. She played 24 minutes on the 14th against Indiana. 28 minutes in her first game, 26 in the second, and 30 minutes. So she is getting the minutes. And you know what I say? I don't give a shit su puppy. If a basketball player for fantasy is getting the minutes, it will equate to some value. So that's what's something that people don't talk about enough. How many minutes is this player getting? And a lot of these strategies and techniques that we're using, they work in the men's game as well. And then, last but not least, to round out our top 5, from the Las Vegas Aces, Alicia Clark. She is averaging 31 minutes per game on a season, 10.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1 assist. And check this out, y'all. Come here. 2 steals per game. Yes. No blocks, 3 turnovers. That's a little high, but I'm okay with that. I would definitely be looking to grab her off of the waiver wire. Now, I want to talk quickly about Drip. Attention collectors and sports enthusiasts. Discover Drip, your ultimate online shopping space for collectibles and sports cards. Sign up using our link, bit.ly/drip250. That's bit.ly/drip250 and receive up to $250 in credit. It is not a game. This is not a joke. It's not a scam. This is real deal. I talked to them. I met with them. This is wild, Joe. You could also get, I think, like $10 in credit too. But it's anywhere. It's like some kind of a game where you sign up. You could get as much as $250 for free. And these are credits that you can use immediately. It's wild. No strings attached. Join the Drip community today and enhance your collection without breaking the bank. Don't miss out. Claim your free credit while this offer lasts. It might not last, y'all. $250, I don't know how they can keep giving that away. So you need to take advantage of it, where every purchase tells a story. Drip. Sign up at bit.ly/drip250. Now let's talk face of the NBA. Man, oh man, oh man. Like, this is something that's been coming up a lot on my feed. Been reading some articles, thinking about stuff, and just had to really dig into this topic. So let's start. So to really think about the face of the NBA, we want to think about the history of the NBA, right? So back in the 60s, back in the 70s, the league didn't have the best reputation, right? There was baseball, football. Basketball really wasn't as popular as it is now. It wasn't the global game that you know today. There was a time, though, where there was a shift. And it happened in the late 70s when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson rose up onto the scene. They had a big game, a national championship game. I believe it was 79. And it was one of the most viewed basketball games in history, one of the biggest sporting events in history. Now, college basketball at that time was more popular than NBA basketball. So when they finally had a rivalry, as well as two players to kind of carry the narrative, that translated right into, or transitioned and transcended right into the NBA game. So when these players were drafted, Magic went to the Lakers, Bird went to the Celtics, two storied franchises who already had a built-in rivalry. So the Lakers and the Celtics, they already had a rivalry. They had played in the finals against each other for, numerous times. And now they were getting these two young stars. So it was like almost the stars were aligning for the NBA. And Bird and Magic were the face of the NBA, two guys, until Michael Jordan came along. And when Michael Jordan came along, we had a new face of the NBA. He was, like, undoubtedly, no one stood with him. He was by himself, and he was really the first one-man face of the NBA at that level, right? We had good players great players, I should say, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, but the game wasn't as popular. With his sneakers and then also with the 92 Barcelona Olympics, he kind of was the player that took the game international and didn't just become the face of the NBA, but became a global icon. Transcending sports. Like, it was beyond sports with Mike, right? So when Mike retired, at that time, Kobe Bryant was the closest thing that we had seen to Mike. And he kind of became the face of the NBA. When LeBron came into the league, him and Kobe kind of shared the stage for a little bit. But when Kobe retired, it was officially LeBron's league. And that's kind of where we are now. No one has really came up and I'm the new guy. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, these guys, even James Harden, stars like that. Actually, I would just say Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, although they are notable stars, superstars in the league, they're not LeBron James. So they've never really been considered the face of the league. Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, although they are superstars, two of them have championships with Giannis and Jokic, but they have never really been viewed as the most marketable or the face of the league, right? So we've been looking and talking. A lot of names come up. People say, Ja Morant. Ja Morant is so busy getting on Facebook Live with the blicky, on IG Live in the topless bar with the blicky, that maybe he can't focus. Hopefully he will. I want Ja to win, right? But people said Ja at some points. Then you have these playoffs, and you see people like SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, rise to the occasion, an MVP candidate. Can he be the face of the league? And then you have guys like Jason Tatum, who over the years, we felt like he should be on that level, but he just hasn't made it there. And now in the playoffs, we have Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Luka Doncic, as well as Jason Tatum. And I'm asking myself, which of these guys will claim this championship and become the face of the NBA? And a part of me thinks that the player that does win this chip in 2024 will be the new face of the NBA. But there's another player that people are not talking about in this capacity, but the player is arguably the most popular player in the world right now. And I'm talking about someone you would never guess, you would never imagine. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark. Now stay with me. How can Caitlin Clark be the new face of the NBA? I get it. She don't even play in the NBA. I totally understand if you're giving pushback right now. But stay with me. Think about it like this. The WNBA and the NBA are aligned, right? They're like connected leagues. They have shared interests. They work together. So if the NBA wins, the WNBA wins. But people haven't really looked at it vice versa. If the WNBA wins, the NBA wins, right? It's always been like big brother, little sister type deal. But with Caitlin Clark, we haven't seen a basketball player with this kind of buzz in years. And we've never seen a female women's basketball player create this kind of hype and this kind of buzz. And honestly, creating new fans. People were there, like when Diana Taurasi came into the league, like into the WNBA, like people like tuned in. She had a really high rated, she had a lot of viewers pull up to her first game. Like it was widely watched and followed. But with Caitlin Clark, we're having people who never watch basketball come. Like we are not creating just new WNBA fans. The level above that is she's creating new NBA fans. And the level above that is she's creating new basketball fans. So I would argue, as insane as it might feel and sound, that the new face of the NBA is Caitlin Clark. Not an NBA player, not Luka, not Giannis, not Ant-Man, not Ja Morant, none of these guys. It's, in fact, Caitlin Clark. We've already experienced the Caitlin Clark effect. Like, she came in the league, and she's like, man, that's messed up that y'all got us on commercial flights. Now they got charter jets. We've seen her game, the finals against South Carolina was the biggest game. I think it was 18 million viewers in 5 years, the biggest basketball game. So that's just not college women's sports. That's men's college, NBA, FIBA, and one mixtape. Huh? Come on, man. I'm just saying. Like, I call it like I see it. So I could be wrong, but I believe her trajectory of bringing new fans to WNBA will allow her to also impact not just her league, but also the NBA as well, especially if the NBA and WNBA get it right for All-Star Weekend. We saw Sabrina Ionescu do a matchup against Steph Curry for the three-point contest. If they incorporate Caitlin Clark into some kind of activities for the All-Star Weekend, I think that's how they really, really can win. So there you have it. The new face of the NBA will actually be a WNBA player, and it will be Caitlin Clark. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline. The game starts here. Make sure you check out some of our other episodes, and if you have a comment or disagree with anything that I said, please let us know below. Talk to you soon.